Welcome to On the Ball. My name is Gabriel, and this is a very special episode of Talking Points. This is Talking Points interviews, and today with me, I've got a very, very special guest by the name of Kenneth Conti Kubheka, who is currently a senior instructor for both SAFA, which is the South African Football Association, and for CAF as well, which is the Confederation of African Football in South Africa. He's also the former head of technical and youth development at PSL side Kaiser Chiefs. Conti, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me, Gabriel. That's the opportunity for me, I think, and good to meet you.
And I'm very excited. I'm going to jump straight into the questions now. And the very first question that I have for you, which I'm sure that many want to know, is about your personal history. Could you tell us about your history and some of the experiences that you have as well?
Very important ones. I'm actually from the Val. I'm born in I'm a football teacher, which I got my certificate from Holland with the other 8 coaches I went with in 1996. And that has made us to be the instructors for SAFA, because the coaching material, we had to compile everything in comparison with other nations outside, like Germany, France, Holland, which are the most successful countries when coming to football education. And I coached professional clubs, Valpros, I coached pushbacks, I was a technical director, Chiefs as well. But I left Chiefs now, the past few years. I'm now running Continental Sports Academy, trying to get coaches together through workshops and so on. And then that's why I'm here today.
And you mentioned that you formed the Continental Sports Academy. It is an NPO, if I'm not mistaken, trying to develop coaches. What exactly are the objectives, or what's your goal with the Continental Sports Academy as a whole?
From my experience, Gabriel, I noticed that coaches' qualifications is not enough. One other most important thing in coaching is understanding of the people that they are dealing with, the society, their background, upbringing backgrounds, the socio-economic factors. If you understand much better the society you are working in, it is much better that you can produce better players. So culture is the main thing that the coach has got to understand, so that he's able to learn all the elements that brings about the philosophy. Then you can have a good style of play, and the philosophy of your coach, of your supporters, will go along with the team. Barcelona supporters are just as good as their football. All the club, the culture is there. Culture of supporters and culture of play goes together. So coaches must not just coach for coaching. There are other human nature properties which we have to tap in, to ensure that the player is really coming out of the shell and exploring his hidden avenues to show his identity. And I think that's what South Africa needs. We need to get coaches to understand, and we can be able to produce the South African league.
100%. And you're not just talking about these things. You're actively trying to change things. You're doing actions and making things happen. With that being said, you do have upcoming workshops that is happening in October, November, and December, if I'm not mistaken. What is it that you can expect at these workshops, and whose idea was it to come up with them?
I came up with this idea because to spread the gospel about the South African style of play needs a very, very busy vehicle to move around the country and make sure that we influence everyone about what we are so that we can play our own football. So it is my idea, and through the workshops, we are also preparing them for getting into a course of technical directors. This course is a very deep course, as you know very well, that I was a technical director at Bush Parks and at Kaiser Chiefs for 5 years. I was there and I trained people. I was also at the University of Weselvays in Hungary, where my thesis through the course was youth development programs. And that's why now I have to share this experience with everyone in the country and train people as an instructor. I'm still the senior CAF instructor, but this it's not a qualification course. It's a skill program which is going to enhance our people who are dealing with the youth and have systematic operation in their academies, you know.
And of course, it's always good to have certain sort of skills-based programs which will help you where perhaps you might not get the experience that you need as early as possible. So this will help in terms of gaining experience as well without actually being in the field, which I think is wonderful. Now, I think a question that might be important as well is the entries. How do you become eligible to enter into your workshops?
Gabriel, when you look at the countries like in the South America, those people through research, and everyone can bear with me who has been in these countries, their main thing before they can get into the levels of qualification in coaching is to get the culture. They have a common uniform way of dealing and developing their players. The qualifications comes after. That's why it is very, very important that at the bottom, workshop can be also the entry to the next level, because those who have attended workshops, they will be attending also the faculty seminars. Faculty seminars will be coming after the workshops, which it is much deeper to deal with people who are in this faculty. We make a special selection of people through the course itself. But on the other side, we will prefer people who's got the minimum of C license from SAFA and who is dealing with the players, and with the submission of his activity report will support us to start. That could be also the lowest qualification for entry into the technical director's course. We also have to give people an opportunity for recognition of prior learning. We know we have older people who've been in the development for many, many years, and whose experience is qualified and even much more than the C license. Such people also will be RPL'd so that we try to make them competent enough in a course, because the course is quite very, very deep.
Okay, and what about the length of time it'll take for them to complete the course?
Yeah, the course is gonna take a year. because people will be ready. We shall have gone through the workshops and the faculty seminars. It's gonna take a year. And by that time, it will be credit-bearing, university credit-bearing course, which can help you also to go ahead with your other things, because the courses will be starting in January. So we are nearly finished with the accreditation of the course. That's why we start preparing people for entry into the course. And for now, the workshop takes 4 days. We split it into 2 weekends, 2 days of the first weekend of the month and 2 days of the second weekend of the month.
Okay, and in terms of the benefits and the outcomes outside of what you've already mentioned, what can you expect if I'm a coach or if I'm somebody attending? What can I expect afterwards as a benefit or an outcome?
Yeah, our coaches have learned a lot, because they will be knowing from the workshop an organogram, for example. People are running the academies without an organogram. And the leader of the organogram, if you look at all the departments from the technical, health and wellness, doctors, physios, fitness trainers, and everywhere. You go to administration, marketing, players, and hostel father, housekeeping, cooking, and all these things which makes the academy. The groundsmen, all the people who are working there, there must be someone who is observing and knowing their duties. So after the workshop, someone will be knowing about the duties of all the people, the personnel in the academy. He will know how to structure or develop programs for the coaches. He will know how to interlink the operations of all the departments in the academy for the purpose of developing a player. Sometimes we have all the people qualified in the academy, but everyone comes with his own interest, when the interest must be focused on a player. All the expertise in the academy are the people who come because of the play. So even the credibility of the technical director, sometimes take a person who failed aside as a technical advisor or a technical director, and then go employ another one who is more qualified than him. This is not a dumping place. A technical director is a person who works like a CEO of the academy, if I may say. So the powers, the motivation, everything will be there. And at the end of the workshop, they get the apparel from the workshop itself. They get their certificates. They get their booklets to run their academies as a foundation. And there's quite a lot in the booklet, designing of the identifying and establishing your own culture. It is something that someone has got to learn. The policies of the academy should be addressed, because the quality management. So all these systems are put into place into this workshop, coaches for the.
Okay, wonderful. You had disappeared for a second, so I just needed to make sure that I wouldn't be speaking over you. But I do have just about 2 or so more questions. Now, one of the questions that I do have for you is, you've been in the football industry for many, many years, for a few decades. You've been a professional in football. So what is it that led you to beginning with Continental Sports Academy now at this time? Why did you decide to work on such a project now as opposed to working on it maybe 10 or so years ago? Where did that passion come from?
I'm now 40 years in coaching. Yeah, I'm 40 years. I started in 1980 when I left professional football, going to semi-pro. And now, all this, I think it comes with knowledge and experience. The network went from the player, train the coach, train the instructor. That is pushing me away from the player. And that brings about a much more open vision and understanding of how things has got to happen. And most of the time, I'm training coaches, the lowest level. And then the players themselves, I'm no more interested. And I have this belief that you will start doing the things when your mind is full and you can now deliver. You have the information. You don't Google. You don't listen to them. But you learn what we deliver now. I deliver through the experience, practical experiences that I've seen. Makes me to feel that, hey, what I see, I need to open up also other coaches for the betterment of South African football. Bring football back.
And finally, Conti, of course, the information you've given is extremely, it's incredible information that we can get. And it's, of course, wonderful advice. But if you have to give one piece of advice to someone very young going into coaching, getting excited for it, what's the advice that you would give them in order to succeed as a young coach moving into professional football?
Yeah, the advice I can give, I've followed with, and I tried to draw them into football coaching. And by that time, the coaching was not FIFA accredited because we were banned out of South Africa, out of international sports. But I can tell you, those who survive are those who's got the passion and who has the understanding. But the most key thing is to be patient, learn the persons you're dealing with, and also learn from each lesson, each session that you deliver with people. Most importantly, the human relations must be very, very, very outstanding, because here as a coach, you deal with many different characters, different, you see, South Africa is multinational country. You got so many people from different countries with different languages, and you have to put them into one plain philosophy, which needs a very, very high, strong personality of a leader. So let's keep on getting into the work if we like it as a coach, but first the person that we are coaching in front. Let us not look at the glory first. Let's get the glory after producing players.
Wonderful. That is some very good advice. And of course, Conti, I want to thank you so much for being here on the ball. I do understand you have a website, which you will see at the bottom of the screen. It is CSA-exactapproach.com. Conti.com. You can go on the website, have a look. There's the wealth of experience that Conti has garnered over his career. You will be able to see that on the website. You'll get some information on the workshops, and you'll find a way to contact him as well if you are in need of any more information that you might need. And it's just been a pleasure having you and speaking to you as well. And I hope that we can do this again sometime soon.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. It's been a nice show for me and you.
Thank you. Perfect. And to everybody else watching, I'll talk to you again soon. Hit the bell notification icon so you know when the next videos are released. Like, share, and subscribe as well. And I'll talk to you soon.